Okay, Merrick, you're live.
Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Perth East Council this 5th day of July, 2022. I'll now call the meeting to order. If everyone could please bow their head for a moment of reflection. Thank you. We need a motion to confirm the agenda. Anything anyone would like to add or need to change on the agenda? If not, we need a motion to accept, moved by I think I'm frozen. Can you hear me, Colleen?
Yes,
we
I
can
can
hear you.
Okay, because not moving, Hugh's not moving, Jerry's not moving. Oh, there, Hugh moved.
I think it's at your end, Mayor. I guess we've had, multiple movers and seconders.
Okay, all right. So I will log off and come back on and see if that helps. And maybe Hugh, do you want to take over till I get back?
Okay. Yeah. Okay, then for the consent confirmation of agenda, can I have a first mover and a seconder for that? Jerry moved, Andrew seconded. All those in favor? Okay, that's passed. You can disclose pecuniary interest now or at any time during the meeting. We have the consent agenda 5.11 to 5.115. Was there anything anybody wanted to pull from the consent agenda? Andrew, Councilor McAlpine.
Fine. Thank you, Chair McDermott. 5.1.8, please. Just more of a, you don't need to maybe pull it for action. I'm just wondering where we are with that item as far as a lower tier municipal level.
Okay, that was 5.18. Okay. Would CEO Givens like to respond to that?
Sure, Chair McDermott, sorry about that. I was a little hesitant to let you go. Yeah,
Oh, no.
Councillor McAlpine, we've basically kind of looked back, I guess, from a Perth East perspective. Back in, most of you recall back 2013, Perth East passed a not a willing host resolution related to industrial wind turbines. So that resolution still, to my mind, is still in power and still reflects the feelings of Perth East Council. What the report that we've included in the agenda really says is that as a within our zoning bylaw, if we were looking to make amendments to our zoning bylaw to address setbacks and the like, we have that authority. That's basically what's got confirmed from WSP and the county report. So it's information that's maybe something for us to consider going forward, but from a staff perspective, and I think from a council perspective, the not a willing host resolution is still holds fast for Perth East.
Thank you.
Was there any other consent agenda item anybody wanted to have a look at or any questions about? Okay, then we'll move item 5.1.1 to 5.1.15 received for information. Can I have a mover and seconder? Moved by Jeremy.
Sorry, Deputy McDermott. There's also a second part of that resolution that the minutes of June 21st, 2022 regular council meeting be adopted.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No problem.
Flying by my pants here. Jeremy moved, seconder. Yep, Jerry moved, but is there a seconder? Andrew? Or sorry. All in favor? Okay, that's passed. Jeremy and Jerry are both atop of each other, so I got them mixed up. My apologies. Okay. Then we have no delegations, public meetings and public hearings. We have no public meetings. We have one public meeting, and that's 721 minor variance. If the planner could come back on. There we are.
Hello, good
Okay,
evening.
take it away.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. With your permission, I will share my screen for the presentation that I prepared.
Would we be able to open up the virtual public hearing first?
Yes, sorry, Deputy Mayor McDermott. I can read the chair procedures if you would like. I know you don't have
Okay.
that in front of you. So council
Okay.
now temporarily adjourned to sit as the Committee of Adjustment pursuant to Section 45 of the Planning Act. The chair declares this virtual public hearing open. The virtual public hearing is being held to consider an application affecting property currently owned by Murray and Wilma Frey, described as Concession 14, East Part Lot 14, Mornington Ward, 8176, Perth Line 86, listable. The purpose of this hearing is to give the committee and the public an opportunity to hear all interested persons with respect to the proposed application and receive their input, and for the committee to make a decision on the application. All persons attending this hearing will be given an opportunity to be heard or make a presentation. Committee members may ask questions for the purposes of clarifying the application, but are asked to withhold comments on this application until all present have been given an opportunity to be heard. Due to COVID-19, public hearing procedures have been adjusted to hear provincial guidelines for holding electronic meetings. Any person who wished to be heard regarding this matter was asked to register prior to the meeting by the deadline of Monday, July 4th, 2022 at 12 noon with the municipal clerk. Any person who wishes to receive written notice of the decision made by the Committee of Adjustment is asked to email their name and mailing address to the Secretary Treasurer following the hearing. An appeal to the Ontario Land Tribunal objecting to the decision made at this hearing may be filed with the Secretary Treasurer no later than July 25th, 2022. No written notice, except as previously noted, will be given unless requested at this time. The chair will now call on Planner Pune Direction to present the planning report and recommendations.
Thank you very much, Sir Chair and committee members. Good evening again. This minor variance application is for Murray Frey, and it is located south of Perth Line 86 and west of Perth Road 121. The property is within the Mornington Ward, and the purpose of this minor variance application is for the owner to be able to build a drive shed on this side, the westerly side of the property. And the purpose of this application is to request for relief for the side yard setback from 30 meters to 10 meters. The purpose for the request is that otherwise it would be too close to the barn on the east side, and they need to be able to get into the barn and out of it safely, and also for the drive shed to be able to drive the machinery in and out of that drive shed easily. And I have a picture that shows where it will be located here, where it is proposed. So from the planning perspective, it meets the requirement of the provincial policy statement and official plan and zoning bylaw. The province encourages all uses and structures that will encourage the agricultural activity on agricultural lands, and they would like to see that the activities are promoted and this structure, such as this one, is considered an integral part of agricultural activity. It is in conformity with the prevalent land use of the area, and it does not impact the neighbors negatively in any way. And therefore, the planning recommends approval of this application. Thank you.
Okay, so no one registered to make a presentation or speak in opposition. No one registered to make a presentation or speak in support of the application other than the applicant or the applicant's agent. The applicant or the applicant's agent did not register to make a presentation or speak with respect to the application. So the chair is asking if there are any questions from the committee members.
Not seeing any hands. Okay, what is the motion?
So the committee will now consider a motion regarding the application. The chair declares this virtual public hearing closed. The motion is that the Township of Perth East Committee of Adjustment receive the report dated July 5th, 2022, prepared by the planner entitled Minor Variance D13-A12-2022-PE, submitted by Murray and Wilma Frey, affecting lands described as Part Lot 14, Concession 14, Mornington Ward 8176, line 86, listable for information. And that the committee approved minor variance D13-A12-2022-PE, affecting lands as described above with the following condition: that the owners obtain the necessary building permit within 2 years of the approval of the minor variance.
Jeremy, are you moving? And seconder? Andrew? All those in favor? Okay, that's passed. Okay, thank you. We have no planning and development. CAO is the right to disconnect policy.
So yes, I've asked Ruth Ann, our HR coordinator, to attend as well. So yeah, we've prepared the report to meet the legislative requirement as it relates to the right to disconnect, or created the policy. Ruth Ann did the majority of the legwork, so appreciate that. And certainly we're here to answer any questions as they may come up as it relates to the policy. I think the right to disconnect has been a conversation that's happened with many municipalities already. I think we're trying to acknowledge a work-life balance for our staff, but from my short tenure here, I think Perth East is blessed with a very dedicated group of people, and the right to disconnect is something that, yeah, we look forward to encouraging, knowing that we have staff that will make best efforts in all instances, and yeah, they do deserve that opportunity to balance their home life as well. So again, any questions, we're here to answer.
Is there any questions on the report? Very thorough report, and I think very evenly balanced. What would the motion be, Eric?
Yeah, the motion is that the Council of the Township of Perth East receive the report entitled Right to Disconnect Policy dated July 5th, 2022, prepared by the Human Resources Coordinator for information, and that Council approve the Right to Disconnect Policy in compliance with the Ontario Provincial Employment Standards Act 2000, Bill 27, disconnecting from work, added to the ESA on December 2nd, 2021.
Okay. Any final questions? Okay, I would need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Amanda, second by Jeremy. All those in favor? Okay, that's passed. Next we go to clerk, and that's the community safety zone application process.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor McDermott. So as council is aware, on June 7th, 2022, you saw some correspondence from Albert Arnott requesting a submission to the Solicitor General or the Minister of Correctional Services for the creation of a community safety zone on line 34. Council passed a resolution to have staff report back to council with that process. So we were able to do some digging. First off, a community safety zone is essentially a designated stretch of roadway that is recognized under provincial legislation. It is marked with community signs, but it only allows for the doubling of fines associated with Highway Traffic Act offenses. So just to highlight on that, a community safety zone is really only as effective as the enforcement that is happening within that community safety zone. So to apply, it's a quite extensive process. There's 4 steps. The first step being background information and site proposal. Staff will need to prepare a detailed written description of the proposed community safety zone. Then for step 2, we'd need to justify that site. During this, we'd have to do some research, including collision numbers, history of personal injuries, presence of pedestrian traffic, proximity to schools or other vulnerable groups. We would also have to conduct a community survey or host a variety of community meetings, all to support the community safety zone. The next step is consultation. We would then need to consult with the OPP, the MTO, and other various, our MPP as well, and other various public sectors to get them to write letters endorsing the community safety zone. And then we would compile it for step 4, which would be the submission. So it is important to note that this would take up a considerable amount of staff time, as well as there would be a budgetary impact on the cost to conduct a community survey or to hold public meetings. If anyone has any questions, I'm here to answer. Thanks.
Any questions of the report? Quite thorough report, I must say. Okay, what would council like to do with this report? Amanda, Councillor Broadhagen?
I move that we receive for information.
Okay. Do seconder and Councillor McAlpine? Or do you have a question, Andrew?
Yes, Chair McDermott, if it's okay with Councillor Broadhagen, maybe we, when the clerk contacts the requester, that maybe we could add, contact the OPP non-emergency line. That might be helpful to whether they know that or not already, whether that needs to be in the resolution. But I know the OPP likes to hear from the residents with concerns, and the back and forth is very important to understand the problem fully. So definitely receive for information, and if clerk can pass that information on, I don't think we need it in the resolution, but that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay. We have a mover and a seconder. All those in favor? Okay, that's passed. Nothing from finance, public works, building bylaw, recreation and community services. Manager Westman.
Thank you. As council is aware, the Perth concession had been operated by Karen Steckley prior to COVID. She then went out on her own, and we have put out a couple of requests for proposals for the operations of the concessions, and we hadn't had any luck with filling that void. We had issued another one just recently, and we were fortunate to get a response from a couple that are interested in operating the concessions. So I'm bringing forward the request that we approve the operations of the concessions to the I don't have my report open, and to these people. Sorry.
Thank you. Anybody have
And
any
Marcelo.
questions? Always a friend. Any, Counselor Smith?
Just a comment, I actually met this couple at the MBA meeting last week, and we were talking about a number of different things, and suggesting about the concession. Somebody asked about that at the perk, and I said, yeah, we're looking for one, and his eyes kind of popped open, and he kind of mumbled something. I didn't hear what he said, but then lo and behold, the agenda came out on Thursday when it was, and there's his name. So I think there would be a good couple to get this thing going again, and yeah, hopefully there's some success with the booth. Just a comment. Thanks.
Okay. No. Yep. I hope it is successful. Provide something else for the people when they're at the perk to be able to purchase some food. Any questions or any other comments? Okay. Clerk Bell, could you read the motion, please?
Yep, the proposed motion is that the Council of the Township of Perth East receive the RFP-RCS-2022-01 Perth East Recreation Complex Concession Results Report prepared by the Recreation and Community Services Manager dated July 5th, 2022 for information, and that council enter into an agreement with Diane and Marcelo Lara for the operations and management of the Perth concessions.
Moved by Jeremy. Second by Jerry. All those in favor? Okay, that's passed. We have nothing from fire. Then we have correspondence. 9.1 from Jeremy about increased parking by law enforcement in downtown Overton. And I believe CEO Givens will speak to that.
Yeah, thank you, Chair McDermott. I just wanted to quickly share with council that, yeah, staff, in particular, CBO Wright and Acting Clerk Bell have been working diligently finding other bylaw enforcement opportunities for us, having our enforcement officer leave us recently. So the timing of the letter is good in that it affords me the opportunity to let council. We haven't lost sight of this, and we were hopeful that we may have something to present via report potential agreement for tonight's meeting. Unfortunately, we ran out of time for that, but we do anticipate that we'll have something for council to consider in the very near term to get bylaw enforcement back in place with a group that has experience in this type of activity. We know it's something that's important, in particular in our downtown cores as it relates to parking and other enforcement. So yeah, just wanted to assure council that it has not been lost sight of, and that yeah, we'll have something to consider in the very near term.
Okay. Jeremy, is there anything? Go ahead, Jeremy.
Yeah, I have had a few conversations with CBO Wright about this as well, and I know they are working on a few things, and they've definitely been out there patrolling or been out more often than I know we have been in the past. The big concern is that it's happening regularly, like on a daily basis, and it becomes quite arduous for the business owners when they're in the middle of whatever they're doing, and whether they're walking to get the mail, or they're cutting someone's hair, or they're sitting behind their desk in their insurance office. You see something happening, and you have to open up your smartphone, or you have to get on your computer and submit the bylaw complaint. Wes has graciously passed along a quick contact number that we're able to get a hold of him a lot quicker. I was around town today and handed out a few of Wes's cards as well, so we do appreciate the extra effort that's going into it. It is something. I don't know if I've been the president 8 years, 10 years, but it's been quite a while, and about every year I have to send an email out to remind everyone that they should be asking their staff to be parking elsewhere, not in front of their places of business, and that gets rectified pretty quickly. But there's definitely there's definitely situations that it's not being addressed by those emails. So I'm hopeful that, you know, if we catch a few of the culprits in the act, that they'll park in a spot that's not going to affect, you know, the sales or the downtown community. Parking in accessible spots when you don't have an accessible sticker, and parking downtown for 8 hours at a time. It just really, you know, keeping patrons from getting into our stores and shops. And I've had multiple people tell me that they have to circle the block 3 or 4 times till they can get a spot. And, you know, it might be an elderly person. So whatever we can do to help out with this, we do appreciate it.
Okay. And I believe we'll receive this for information.
Yeah,
And could I have Clerk Bell? Is there have you got something already written out?
yeah, thank you, Deputy Mayor McDermott. So the proposed motion is that the Council of the Township of Perth East receive the correspondence from Jeremy Matheson, President, Milverton Business Association, dated June 29th, 2022, regarding the request for increased parking by law enforcement in downtown Milverton for information.
Okay, can I have a mover and a seconder? Andrew moved and seconder. Jerry, all those in favor? Oh, Andrew, you have a question?
I always have a question, McDermott. Just connecting some dots here in case everybody's wondering. This is the second of what looks like 3 items on the agenda that could arguably be related to growth. So we might want to keep that in our hat for the visiting session coming up. You know, we have excessive traffic, parking issues due to volume, and then the next item coming up too. So we could just maybe consider that as we move forward, but this is a good start to get this one addressed. Thank you.
Okay. We had a first and seconder, did we not? Okay. All those in favor of the motion? Okay, that's passed. Then CEO Gibbons will speak to 9.2 also.
Yeah, thank you, Chair McDermott. Just as it relates to 9.2, typically when we see these type of incidents or the information that came out of the correspondence, yeah, I would typically work with the mayor, and we would, you know, either arrange a visit or some sort of call with the inspector, who happens to be new with the OPP, just to try and indicate some of the concerns that we have and some of the new activity. So Mayor Agates and I have had that conversation, and yeah, with council's indulgence, we'd move forward post this meeting and reach out to the inspector to see if we can get a little bit more police presence to help maybe curb some of the activities that are being raised in the correspondence in 9.2.
Okay, thank you. Clerk Bell, do we have a motion for this?
Yes, so the proposed motion is that the Council of the Township of Perth East receive the correspondence from Jeremy Matheson, President, Milverton Business Association, dated June 29th, 2022, regarding request for increased Ontario Provincial Police OPP presence in downtown Milverton for information. And if council would like, we could add on that they direct staff to follow up with the OPP.
Okay, and I'm sorry, I forgot to ask if there was anybody had any questions. No. Okay, can I have a mover and seconder for that motion? Moved by Amanda, seconded by Jerry. All those in favor?
Sorry, Hugh, can I just make a quick comment?
Oh, yeah. Yes. No, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, we, as a business association, we send 1 letter a year to the municipality asking for a road closure. So just to put a little bit more emphasis on these 2 letters, like we aren't we aren't out there complaining. This is a one-off, once in a decade that we've sent something like this. So just to, let you know that the problem is quite serious, especially with this second letter that we sent out with all of these instances that you've seen here have occurred in the last several months. It's not an occurrence over the last 2 or 3 years. It's just over the last few months that this stuff has happened. So I don't want you to think that we might be whining about things that are occurring, because we wouldn't be sending letters if there were things that we could deal with ourselves. And the OPP have been contacted each time when these things are happening. It's just a matter of them not being in the immediate area or the immediate vicinity that they can't respond that quickly. So I do appreciate the support on this. Thank you.
Okay. And then all those in favor of the motion? Okay, that is passed. There's no council and committee reports. There's no mayor's log. Then we move down to bylaws. So if Clerk Bell, if you could read 11.1.1, the bylaw.
Yep. So bylaw number 33-2022, being a bylaw to authorize the signing of a memorandum of understanding between the corporation of the Township of Perth East and the Maitland Valley Conservation Authority. Bylaw number 34-2022, being a bylaw to amend bylaw number 15-2017, being a bylaw to govern the calling, place, and proceedings of meetings as amended. That the bylaws listed above be read a first, second, third, and final time.
Okay. Just could you give just a little bit more information on 34-2022?
For sure, I can certainly do that. So our procedural bylaw has the inaugural session for council occurring in December.
Yes.
However, the new term of council, as mandated by the province, will occur November 15th. So we just had to amend our procedural bylaw to allow for that.
Thank you. I forgot that I'd read that. Thank you. Is there any questions at all on the two bylaws? Okay, good. You've now read that. Could I have a mover and seconder for this? Moved by Amanda, seconded by Andrew. All in favor? Okay, that is passed. Do we have a closed session?
No closed session tonight.
No, didn't think so. So there's no business arising from the closed section. Does anybody have a notice of motion? Okay. Anybody have any new business? Okay. Anybody have any announcements? No. Okay, then we're down to the confirmatory bylaw. Clerk Bell, would you read that, please?
That bylaw number 35-2022, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council of the Township of Perth East at its regular meeting held on July 5th, 2022, be read a first, second, and third time.
Okay, can I have a mover and seconder for that? Moved by Jeremy, seconded by Amanda. All those in favor? Okay, that's passed. Then we just have adjournment.
That the meeting of council be adjourned at 7:34 p.m.
Could I have Amanda and Andrew, and all in favor? Thank you, everyone.
You
And I'm
might
sure
you
the
might have a
mayor
new job
enjoyed-
here. How quick that went.
Yeah.
You might have a new job now.
No, that's quite all right. I think the mayor was enjoying this way too much.